Well, hello, folks. This is going to be fun. Can you hear me? Is everything working? Somebody say hi. Hiya. I'm waving. Hello. Can you hear me okay? All good? Can hear me? Hooray. Okay. Right. This is going to be quite difficult because I can't actually see what I'm doing because the phone's in my face. But I'm going to give it our best shot. So, these skins, tiger and white tiger, are actually the same. All I've done is I've just made them a slightly different design. That's a bit finer and a bit closer together, but basically it's exactly the same technique on a different background. And so I'm only going to worry about this one, because if you know how to do this one, you can do that one. It's a bit dark. Is it okay? Can you see okay? I've got as much light as I can find on everything, but it's not really helping as much as I'd hoped. Hang on. Not really going to be much better, I don't think. Okay, so I think if we go for tiger and leopard, see how we get on. If we have time, we'll do zebra. And if we have time after that, we will do giraffe. But they are fiddly, so we're going to see how we get on. But we'll start with tiger, okay? So tiger, the colours are yang, boop, jasmine, there she is, jasmine, Sarah, although you wouldn't know it, there's not a lot of Sarah left by the finish. Now, Hypnos Vincent, which is the most eye-popping orange. It's a bit bright, but we can deal with that. Nora, which is a nice chocolatey brown colour. And finally, not quite black, just a little bit browny black. Tiningo Inspire Liner. Oops, it always does that. Hang on. For the stripes. Okay. So that's a lot of colours. And when you look at the nail, you wouldn't know that many colours were in it. But it was just a case of blending and blending and blending. I don't know if I can short circuit it a little bit. I'm going to try tonight. But most definitely we're going to need, I always use old form paper, but you're going to need some kind of palette. So all I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to load up colours on the palette. So there we go, we've got 1, 2. These base colours, by the way, are the same base colours that I would use for the leopard skin as well. The zebra print is white, yang, and Ellen grey. Right, Hypnos. We don't need a lot of Hypnos. Are you ready? So nice though. Anyone that's looking for a summer neon orange, way to go. It's pretty outrageous. Okay. And finally, we need, at the moment, Nora. Okay. So, there's the nail. Originally I painted the base of the nail with Nora, but I'm starting to think that probably wasn't really necessary. I'm thinking you could probably just start off with a white coat, only because every colour you put over white is going to be as true as possible. And it doesn't really have to be neat because we've got a long way to go yet. So it's just got to be one coat of yang, like so. Oops. How many people are actually going to be painting nails tonight? Come on, you can do it. Okay, I'm going to cure this for 30 seconds. Meanwhile, I'm going to start mixing a colour. I'm going to take a little bit of this. I'm going to put it in that white. All I want is an off-white. Maybe a bit more. Okay. Now, the base of these prints, I did everything with one of these. And when you use them, get some paint in them, but then spend all your time trying to get the paint back out again. Otherwise you'll just end up with big blobs that you didn't want. You want nice, smooth. I know, you can hardly notice. It seems hardly worth it. But basically the white is just too white and we need to tone it down. So that's what we're doing. I'm going to go down the other side, like this. And along the top as well. Oops, sorry. Okay. Don't need to fuss too much. This is a background, don't remember. It's like, you know, it's not the thing. So now I am going to just keep flash curing over and over again. That is annoying. You're going to get very annoyed with it. But basically, I wanted to build up all the background colours really subtly and didn't want to just paint them on. So therefore, the only way to do that is to just very, very carefully build up lots of layers. So I'm going to go again now over a partially cured colour. There we go. The great thing as well about skin the prints is that you don't have to worry about making any texture on the nail. Texture is good, it actually helps. Okay, so I think we've killed off the bright white now. That's a bit of a little ridge there in my nail. I want to make that disappear. Okay, so you can hardly see it really, it's like next to nothing there, but it makes all the difference in the world. Hang on. Now, we'll leave that to cure a little, and I'm going to go take some of this and I'm going to put it into there. Maybe a bit more, like so. That looks okay, good. Okay, now it's starting to get exciting. Right, first off, I'm just going to go for this slightly darker tone. Put it on the inside of my palest colour. Blimey, sorry. It's so hard to see. I'm having to sort of look underneath something to see what I'm doing. Okay. There we go. If you end up with too many thick ridges or blobs or edges, just use a clean bit of your applicator and smooth them out. It's easy enough. Okay. Still, you can hardly see a thing. It's still not much there to look at, but never mind. It's coming along. It gets better in a minute. We start going for the yellow. Just going to let it cure a tiny bit more. Right. Here we go. Now, I'm just going to run this down the middle to start with. Now we can see where we're going, can't we? Okay. Flash cure. I told you there'd be a lot of flash curing. Okay, now while we're doing that, I'm going to take the tiniest amount of this, put it in there, a little bit. Hypnos is so pigmented, you really do only need tiny amounts. Okay. So, taking a bit of that. Just really working it into the sponge. Just the tiniest amount. And then, scary moment. Just bring it right down the middle over the yellow. Okay, just a little bit. What I might do now is actually start making some shape. I only want white here, here, and at the top. I don't really want it here and here. So I might bring out a darker tone just over the top of the white there. And the same on the other side. But it only has to be the thinnest amount. Although it looks a bit lopsided, so I'll put a bit more on that side. Okay. I'm getting there. And then next we take a little bit of Nora and we mix that in. There we go. So we got an even darker shade. So basically we're going from a very light shade all the way through to a very dark shade. And let's use this bit here. Okay, here we go. Right, I'm going to start in the middle. And I'm going to run down just the middle. Like this. And it kind of faded out towards the bottom. Now I'm just going to use the other side to kind of dab it and lose the edges of that a little bit. Okay. Now, I'm tempted, just out of curiosity, to just pop a bit of orange, just for the hell of it. All of this is all about experimenting. There's no rules. Let's have a look, see what it does. Ooh. There we go. Quite like that. I think if I did 100 of these nails, every single one of them would come out slightly differently. And that's fine. Because I'm pretty sure if you compared 100 tigers, they'd all look slightly different if you really looked at them closely. Right, let's just smooth that out. I'm quite happy with that for a background. I'm just gonna soften it up a bit around those edges there. Okay, tiger background. Might just lose that white a little there. Okay, I'm fussing, sorry. Right, here we go. Let's put it in a proper cure for 30 seconds. Okay, let's move that out of the way before I make a mess. Okay, the liner. Now, let me see. Let's find it. Okay, I'm going to find a brush. I'm going to show you something. Tiger stripes. There are a real limited number of rules to making these stripes. Number one rule is make a moustache. Okay. Variations. Make a moustache that doesn't join on this side. Or make a moustache that doesn't join on this side. Okay. The next variation is whatever kind of moustache you make, you just do this. You bring that back up like that, and you bring that back up like that. Fishtail. And then the final variation is upside down V's of varying sizes. They are all you need to know about making tiger stripes. If you mix and match those together down the length of that nail, you will have tiger stripes. So there you go. You've got a joined, not joined and not joined, one way or the other. And then you've got a joined or not joined with a little fan back up again and a few V's. If you remember all those moves, you will be able to make amazing tiger stripes. It's as simple as that. I told you it wasn't that difficult, didn't I? So let's give it a go, shall we? I think it's actually easier to start about here, work down, and then do these little ones to fill up the top when you see what you've got. Now, I found the best thing is if you are not too neat. If you put them all very neatly placed, they just don't look right. So, but what you do want to do is make sure your centre line really runs down neatly down the centre of the nail. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to try and do thin, thick, like this. Okay, and then I'm going to go thin again. Tidy it up a bit. Oops. I'm sort of doing this at arm's length, so it's a bit awkward. Okay, and okay, I'm going to go like that. Okay. Thankfully, nothing in nature is perfect, so these don't have to be either. Okay. Again, just bulk it out a little. Don't worry if it's a bit scruffy. It's amazing how much it all disappears at the crucial moment. Okay. That's a bit skinny, so I'm going to fatten that one up a bit. Okay. Neaten up my points. They don't have to be perfectly symmetrical either. I looked at loads of photographs of real tiger skins and they are absolutely not symmetrical, I can guarantee you. So you won't be breaking any rules if yours aren't either. Let's go that way. Okay. This is a very sort of speeded up version of what I did on those nails, I have to be honest. I did fuss with them. I did kind of get a bit obsessed. Now, I'm getting down to the tiny bits here, so I'm going to do upside down V's. There we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. So far, so good. Okay, now. I think I'm going to go with a big V here at the top. Okay, and I'm not going to join it. And a smaller V there. Maybe a hint of a V there. Okay. Now, in this space, I'm going to put slightly smaller, and I'm going to pull them back. Like that. And see if I can squeeze one in here. Okay. And got to try and get one in there, haven't I? Just a little one. Okay. Now we're sort of getting there. I'm gonna give it a flash cure. Give them a look at the, oh, I'm making a lovely mess here, look. I love this colour. It's amazing. Okay, that's Tiningo. What brush have I got? It's the orange one. It's a 3099X Japanese brush. These brushes are a game changer, I have to say. Okay, so far so good. This is where we look at it and say, do we want to do anything else? I'm a bit concerned about this gap here. It's quite big, so I may regret this, but I am going to try. Oh no, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to do a plain one. I was going to try and do a double, but I think I might be pushing my luck there. And the same here. I'm going to make these a little bit thinner and wispier. I'm going to pull that up there because it looks a bit blobby. So there's always time for tweaking and changing things. Like that. Now, what really pulls it all together is this, and it's the simplest thing. It just is so simple. You just find all these little gaps and you pull up a little stripe in between each piece, like that. Okay, ta-da! And then the other side. Oops. It's time for a bit more tweaking. What do you think? You can do that, can't you? Easy peasy. Do you like it? Those little bits at the side do make all the difference. It just makes it look wow. So there you go. Tiger skin. What do you think? And trust me, that was a really quick flick over. It doesn't need a lot of fussing, but you can fuss with it if you really, really want to. But the great thing about, I think, animal prints are forgiving. So, you know, you don't have to be a real expert. It will be fine. Do you like it? Should we put it in? Cure it. Yay! Just going to give my brush a bit of a clean up. And literally, to clean these brushes, most of the time, all I do is this. I lay them down and squeegee them out with a tissue. If it gets really like I've got to go from a dark colour to a light colour, I just get isopropyl alcohol, literally tap, 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 pat, pat, pat. Doesn't take a lot. There we go. That would be enough. That would be good. So, look at that brush. It's like a dagger. It's absolutely the sharpest point. And the only other one I ever use for these animal prints is the same, but just shorter. Like that. They are amazing though. Oh, I tell you what I use as well. If I make a mistake, I use one of these, because they are fabulous for squeegeeing off tiny, tiny little bits of paint off the edge of the nail that you just made a mistake. You just push it off the edge so no one knows. Brilliant stuff. Shall we top coat that? See what it looks like. I'm now thinking I want to look at photographs of turtle shells and snake skins and reindeer hides. See if I can think of another 5. Because I really enjoyed doing these. Hey. Now I'm going to put that on for 60 seconds. I always do top coats for 60 seconds. Okay, leopard. Ooh. So basically, let's bring back, put that to one side. Let's bring this back here, because this is still very useful. And do what we did before. Start with a coat of yang. And again, don't fuss with it. It's really just to make the colours that you're using pop that little bit more. Take that out, put that in. Okay, out of interest now, let's have a look. We have got this one, this one. You see there, every single one will be different. Where's the white tiger? That's what started me off in the first place, the white tiger. So there we are. They're all different, but they all look great. And put that one there. Okay, leopard print. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a clean one of these. I'm going to mix this and this, just to kill off the white where I want it a little bit. And again, look, it really does take forever. I'm not putting much on. And if I put too much on, I'm taking it off again. Because I want it to be really subtle and really easy on the eye. The background really makes the stripes, I think. But to make those stripes look amazing, the background's got to be really subtle. It does its job, but you don't want it taking up too much of the limelight. So I'm going to lose all the white down there. Let's have a look what we've got. Okay, I'm going to be a bit brave before I cure. I'm going to go straight in with a little bit of this and just blend that in. So, have you got the sus now of the tiger stripe rules? And they're really simple. There's only a few different types to remember. Mix and match them all together, and Bob is your uncle. It does it for you. I'm going to go just a bit darker up there. It's really quite difficult doing this at arm's length, especially with my eyesight. When I'm doing really, really fine stuff, I have to wear 2 pairs of glasses. Okay. Right, I think I'm fussing. Let's put that in, just for a flash. Now what I want to do is, I want to take a bit of this and put it into there. Okay, because I think that's going to look very nice down the edges. Just a bit too white, but I don't want to lose the lightness. I just want to take it down a little bit. Okay, a little bit there. What do we think? It's just killed it off a little. Now, oh boy. I think I'm going to go for quite an orangey tiger. Let's see what happens. That's orangey. Okay. Alright, I don't think we can spend too long fussing, but I'm happy with that. I'm going to give it a flash cure, but the last thing I want to do is, yeah, might be too much. Don't like that. It's a great thing about mixing colours. You look at it, you go, nah, change it. That's more like it. That's what I want. I lost too much yellow there. I didn't want to lose that much yellow. I just wanted something a bit more muted. So I'm going to take a tiny, 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 tiny bit of that. And it's got some orange in there as well, so why not? I just want to work on this area here. Just to make it a little darker. Okay, let's just soften it up again. Okay, it's a bit haphazard, but it's the general idea. Let's just give it a cure. Move this out of the way. Okay, where's my other little bit of paper? Here it is. Okay. Leopard print from photographs. Patterns I saw a lot were this pattern, this pattern, this pattern, oops, and then the smaller ones, they always seem to go like 1, 2 and sort of blend together, or 1, 2, 3 and blend together. Largely they were the main patterns I saw in a leopard print skin. So bearing that in mind, also when I looked at the skin, they had, let me find it, where is it? They had, obviously, the largest part of the pattern was down the middle, and it got smaller as it went to the sides, and it went to the little dots right around the edges. So essentially that's all I did. And to get the colour in the centre, nick this back a bit now, I took some orange and, okay, that should work. Let's have a look. Push that up there a minute, out of the way. Okay. If it's too dark, which it is, way too dark, I'm just going to move over here. Perhaps that'll be better. That's getting a bit closer. Just needs to be a bit, maybe it doesn't. A bit more orangey maybe. Yeah, go for it. If it starts to look a bit too over livid, just take some of this yellow. Okay, that doesn't look too over the top. I think that'll work. So, here we go. I'm literally just going to mark out where I would be putting my marks. And the thing I really thought about tiger marks were, or leopard marks, is the gaps in between were as important as the marks themselves. This must be one of the smallest leopard prints for a nail ever. And you don't have to fuss about the shape of these. You can kind of work the shape out with the lining afterwards. So if you overshoot a little bit, don't worry too much. You can hide a multitude of sins underneath a darker colour. There we go. I do tend to turn the brush or the nail just so that everything goes at different angles, because with a brush it's easy to end up with all your brush strokes pointing in the same direction, which is a bit of a giveaway. But yeah, be scruffy, don't fuss. You can kind of work out how the giraffe is done now, can't you? Generally, whenever I got closer to an edge, I started making markings smaller. Of course, there is a limit of how small you can go before you can't actually put a line around them anymore. Okay, let's start looking at each side. This is a very speeded up version, I have to tell you. So there's no sort of rules about colour. It's up to you really. Just try and get something that looks relatively natural and tones well with all the other colours that you've been using, so that nothing leaps out too much. And it should work. Was it around here? How far should we go up the neck? I don't know. Let's have a look. Where's that one gone? I've lost it. There it is. I've buried it. Look. Ah, okay. Maybe a bit more. Looks a bit narrow, doesn't it? I'm just going to make it wider. A couple on this side. Right. At this point, I would switch to the little brush. Give that a quick flash cure. Back to trusty Taningo. I'm just priming this brush a little bit. Make sure all the bristles are wet with paint, but it's not overloaded. Now, this is quite nerve-wracking, especially at arm's length. You need to literally use it like a dotting tool and just very gently map out really randomly these marks. You definitely do not want too much paint on your brush. See, now that one there was a bit on the long side, but it's not now. Okay, it's not my neatest job, but you can see where this is going. Okay, when you get really bold, you could try painting like this. Which does give a bit of result. Now this is a bit of a slow job. It's not something you're going to do in a hurry. But that means you can charge a fortune. And seriously, I'm not being over fussy here and neat. I'm literally chucking it on. But somehow, it looks all right. It's amazing. It's like a miracle. I don't think I could do it without this brush. This brush is fabulous. I mean, look at how tiny those little marks are. Are you going to fall asleep watching me doing this? suppose you could make the patches bigger. And then of course have less of them to do. But I like to make things difficult for myself. Of course, in truth, particularly when you get to the edges, if you end up accidentally completely painting over one of your darker patches, it doesn't really matter because you get solid dark patches there anyway, so don't worry. Alright, this makes my hand hurt after a while, I have to say. Just holding my hand so still for so long. Okay, this is a scruffy job, but I actually don't think it's going to look that bad for it. It adds texture. It's my excuse. Yes. Too much paint on the brush. Try and spread it out. I'm never going to get around those, am I? I'm just going to put highlights around them. Oops. Well, mostly. I hope you can kind of see from this that you don't have to be too precious or fiddly. Okay, at this point, I'm just going to start making solid blobs. Oh god, they're so much easier. Like this. A few big ones. This is where it's so hard not to do them really neatly, and I have to really sort of check myself. Because we don't like neat leopards. Okay, and then I'm just gonna double dot. Double dots. Oh, I missed that one, look. Phew, it's exhausting. Right. Few big ones. That's random. Okay, a few double dots. Wiggles, whichever. Let's give my brush a bit of a... Okay. So... well, let's have a look. No two are ever going to be the same. Oh, giraffe, hang on. Told you I can't see a thing. There you go. Obviously this one's a bit neater. I did spend longer on it. But that's not bad for the time I had available. We've only got 5 minutes left. Oh my God. Now we haven't got time to do the zebra now, but what I do have time to do is show you the zebra pattern. All I do is a white nail and I ombre on grey in the same pattern I do with the tigers and the leopards. And you can, and in the middle, make the grey a tiny touch darker as well, so you can get a little bit more depth to it. Now the zebra pattern, I'll quickly show you, because all of this is just knowing a pattern. Zebra patterns, when I looked, are really variable, which is great because that means whatever you do, it can't be wrong. Hooray. Now, let me have a look. I'll show you what rules I followed to do this nail. I noticed that always there were some stripes working up, which would have been over the flanks, like this. Ew. Okay, so you had a few of those. All right, now often the back actually had a solid line running down. Okay, and it kind of went up to just before where the mane would have ended. Once you got to a certain point, now you had as well, this was very common. Their stripes are quite thick, so you can lay them on a bit thicker. Okay. Often, in between these would be really soft grey lines, like a shadow line, which I've kind of interpreted that. I've just made this a little bit. They're there. Oh, I don't know if you can see them. They are there, but they are very soft. Because obviously you're working on such a small area, you can't really make them, too fancy. But it did kind of change the tone around that part, which was all I really needed, so that was fine. So yeah, in between you can get really pale bits. And then often, a lot of them had really crazy thin stripes going straight across the middle, which I just thought, my God, that looks like a migraine. But I found this one I really liked. It had a V shape to finish off that, and it kind of went like this, more or less. So you've got like a little fountain, and then you had these V shapes that joined across, and then you had some sort of thick to thin, like this, and they went across and across and across, and then they started to curve forward. Okay, and that's when you're getting close to the neck, and then at the neck they kind of bent back again, and then they just had little 1 2 1 2 1 2. So you kind of had this affair going on. So you've got up, across for the zebra print. But you can really play with that. There are so many variations on zebra print. You can't go wrong, really. But yeah, I think you should try a zebra print and give me a go. But I've got to go now. Okay, I've got 19 seconds left. And so let's have a look. Where are the nails we did? Oh, I can't even find them. They're hiding. I've buried them somewhere. There we go. Ta-da! 1 second. Bye.